the markets go up. What can we expect from the markets today? And then also, we did have a few trades that we have for you. So, lots to talk about. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Morgan. Today is Monday, June 24th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. Geez, Mark, look at this. The S&P still up and away. But on Friday, we were closing slightly lower.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we had that strong Monday. We know that there was the midweek holiday, which kind of felt weird, threw things off a little bit, making record highs, intraday highs anyway, on Thursday, and then a close lower on Friday. But all in all, it was a positive week. I think the most interesting thing, though, was Nvidia.
Nvidia. I mean, just falling for the past few days. I mean, look at this. At first, it was down 3.5%. Let's see. So on this one, down 3.5, then 3.2, and today another 5% down. I mean, what do you think? Is the Nvidia hype over?
I think that this is more of a exponential move or parabolic move higher, finally resetting a little bit. So I wouldn't say that it's over, but this was due. And we're about 16% off of the intraday high that Nvidia set. I think about 12% off of the closed high. But that big run up, it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where we saw it earlier, right? We had this run up and then we had a consolidation pulling back towards the 50-day moving average. Then another run up like this. So I do believe we will see some consolidation here. Will we pull all the way back to the 50-day moving average? I mean, this would be probably by the time it hits it between 105, 110. I don't know. Right now, still trading at 119. But as said, I mean, there must be some profit taking.
And you know why this is good for the market? Look at
Tell
the
me.
heat map.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to bring it up. I haven't looked at the heat map, but I think I know. What do you? Yeah. Wow.
I mean, there were so many times when we saw that the market, the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq, and it's green, it's positive, and these are supposed to be benchmarks, especially the S&P 500, kind of a proxy for the U.S. economy. But then that green was isolated to the Magnificent Seven, or specifically Nvidia. Now we see that Nvidia is down 5%, but everything else is green, which is definitely a good thing.
However, since Nvidia is still one of the largest, did I refresh it this morning? I believe I did. Let me just refresh it again. Yeah, Nvidia down 5%. So back on spot number three, and you see that Microsoft and Apple are gaining right now. You see the market cap, Microsoft
Yeah.
3.3 trillion, right? Then we see 3.2 trillion, now below 3 trillion again. But I mean, I said this is kind of healthy. However, super interesting. What we see today is if you look at the indices, right? We see that the Dow is up 1%, the S&P 0.3, the Nasdaq down 0.25%, even though most of the stocks are up, and this is the Nvidia effect.
Yeah, that is interesting. I also saw that Nvidia was 100% higher than its 200-day moving average. And I don't remember exactly what the details were there, but when you get that far above the 200-day moving average, in the past, that was kind of a sign for concern.
Yeah. Anyhow, this morning we see that traders and investors seem to be rotating out of Nvidia into more of the solid stocks, because if we go over here and look at the Dow, we see, okay, Apple up, JP Morgan up, Visa up, Coca-Cola up 1.3%. So I mean, IBM, little IBM up 2.6%. So, and then we look at the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ, we see that, okay, pretty much all of the semiconductors are down. So Nvidia leading the pack, but then also Qualcomm, Broadcom down a little bit. MU up slightly, but this could be connected to earnings this week. Marvel Technologies slightly down. So we just see that there might be a little bit of rotation going on.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll have to see. Interesting. Apple's up 2%, and this sometimes is where there's these big headlines that are just meant to be just that, headlines. Did you see that EU regulators accused Apple of breaching its new App Store rules?
Yeah, I saw this, but I mean, investors seem to shrug it off.
That's really my point.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes it's not as big of a deal as the media tries to make it out to be.
yeah. I mean, looking at the calendar for this week, let's start with the earnings calendar. So, what's going on this week? We do have a few earnings coming up. So, we do have FedEx tomorrow after the bell. We have MU, which is up today, kind of against the grain, and this is Wednesday after the bell. And then we have Nike on Thursday after the bell. So these are at the tail end. It will be a few weeks after this, and markets are super quiet when it comes to earnings. But I mean, all three of these could actually provide a little bit more insights of what's happening with the economy, especially when we look at Nike and FedEx.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting for our UPS position too. We know that sometimes there's a bit of a sympathy move in either direction, and that could get it moving a little bit.
Yeah. We shall see. Looking at the economic calendar this week, okay, so we have a few Fed members speaking again tomorrow. Consumer confidence, that could be a big one because when was it? Was it last week that core retail sales came in much lower than expected? So this week, we want to see what's happening with the consumer confidence. Overall, we see it is expected to drop from previous months 102 to 100, but it could be a surprise, especially since we had this much lower than expected retail sales.
Yeah, and this is where there are a couple of things to watch this week, but I think it really comes down to Friday.
Yeah, Friday is the absolute big one. So Friday is the core PCE price index. This is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge. It is expected to slow down. So, not necessarily to drop, but from increasing 0.2% per month to 0.1% per month. And that's what the Fed is looking for. They're not looking for deflation, that it is turning negative, but they want to see inflation slowing down. So,
Yeah,
that will definitely be the important one.
agreed.
Yeah, because if this comes in again higher than expected, then all hopes of possibly lowering interest rates are gone. And right now, I mean, this is where markets are looking at this and say, okay, so we are doing pretty well. So probably in July, nothing is happening. But as we can see right now, at around what 67% probability that we will or we might get a rate cut in September.
Yeah, that right now is looking like the most likely plan.
Yeah. Well, other than this, I mean, the markets are just up, up, and away. And we talked about it very briefly. The stock market is in its longest stretch without a 2% sell off since the financial crisis. So, right now, we have gone 377 days without a 2.05% sell off. What do you make of this?
Uh, you know, it sure feels that way, and I would say that we're now due. We're due for that pullback.
We are due. And I mean, what's holding the markets down even today? Up some more.
I sometimes you say it best, and what's the least path of resistance? And right now, to the upside.
Now, path of least resistance, on the other hand, for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it seems to be on the downside. I mean, we haven't looked at
Oh my god.
cryptocurrencies in a while, but look at this. This is a pretty healthy slide that we had here over the last few weeks. I mean, we're talking about a 15% retracement. So it seems that, especially looking here at Bitcoin, we are still stuck in this range between, I want to say, 60,000 and 72,000, somewhere around that.
Yeah, it looks like Bitcoin and Nvidia are now correlated.
It almost seems this way. And then we also
Maybe.
had cocoa. What was what's the cocoa futures again? Where do we have it? It's CC1.
That's
So, cocoa, a few weeks ago, we talked about it towards the end of March that cocoa prices are exploding and Hershey's is getting more expensive. But now look at this. I mean, within just a couple of days, we went from $10 to $7.70. I mean, that's quite a drop today alone, 13% drop.
that is, and nice to see it pull back after that huge run in that parabolic move. So now coming back towards some support levels.
Yeah.
You
Talk
know what's
about
been drifting higher
commodities.
out of the blue? Crude
Sorry,
oil. Oh yeah,
crude
yeah.
oil.
You were just pulling it up. Look at
Crude
that.
oil. I mean, gosh, a few weeks ago, there was this, okay, crude oil is going down, 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 and dragging all the oil companies down. And we are in an HAL, in an oil company, Halliburton.
Yeah,
So we'll talk about this. But crude oil definitely making a nice move. And over the last few weeks, moving up from 72 to 82, that's a 13% move here that we have seen. And we'll feel that at the pump.
yeah, and just kind of quiet, just out of the blue. It seems.
Sneaky, sneaky. All right. Well, let's talk about our existing positions, and let's start with WTF. So we did have another exit signal today. RTX, that's a position that we entered at 104.59, and we exited this morning at 105.74 with a nice profit here. So another winning trade for WTF.
Yeah, nice little rally there, and it did continue a little bit after the open, but happy to follow the plan and take some profits.
Yeah. So here on a retracement, right? We're buying the stock and then riding it up for a few days. And yeah, beautiful to see that there is even a bit of follow through. Philip Morris, another position, a new position on the WTF analyzer, and both you and I decided this morning to skip it, and we shouldn't have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it looked like a decent opportunity, and here there was a signal to get in and to buy at 119. Right now, it's trading at 101.11. Might be a nice one-day trade. So for anybody that has a scanner and took it, nice job.
Yeah, and sometimes it really boils down to what we always say. It's follow your plan of just taking the trades and don't trade what you think, trade what you see, right? I mean, we talked about this. And there you go. You have the mug.
Yeah,
And just this morning, I think we overthought it a little bit, both you and I.
we definitely overthunk it.
Overthunk. We definitely did. All right, hopping over to our wheel positions. So, also quite some action there. First of all, CSIQ. Okay, pulling back a little bit. I mean, this morning it was up as much as 3.5%. We are still interested in flying another partial rescue mission if we can around 15. This morning, this wasn't available, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on this one.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, HAL. So this is where we are in a position. Both you and I have been assigned at 34.50, and that is our oil and gas position here. And then see that we have been assigned at 34.50. And this morning we sold calls against half of our position as 34.50. And then we want to sell more calls, you at 36, I at 36.50. But this here worked already perfectly. So part one of the plan is done.
Yeah, this is where Marcus. I actually sold the 34.50 last week and
Oh
got
yeah.
35 cents. So I was trying to get out of that for a one-day trade at 80% max profit. It was close, but didn't get out. And then hoping to get out at maybe a 90% exit, but with today's rally, not the case. So I also have sold the 34.50 calls expiring Friday, just like you. But I started that last week.
Yeah. So HAL having a great day today, up 1.8%. So was able to sell calls against our existing position. Should probably bring up KSS because I did sell puts against KSS here at 2150 did not get assigned, and you see, this where sometimes you wish you would get assigned, and I was hoping for it today up another 6.5%. I mean, I'm still interested in selling more puts at this level right now. Not possible with this massive move higher.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't take this one, but that would have been a nice one to get assigned and then sell calls this morning.
Yeah. IWM, that's another trade that we're in. So we sold puts at 202. We did get assigned, so we do have a position at 202. And this morning we sold calls again against our existing position. And you got $1.70. I
Yep.
decided to beat you by a few cents, so I got $1.75. This will bring down our break even, which is now already at 197.98 minus $1.75. So that will bring it down to 196. So this is working out just great.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we introduced this IWM strategy and the way that we're trading it with our mastermind group in Barcelona. We felt it was a nice way to capitalize on some wheel selling and wheel trading with an ETF that has some decent premium. IWM fits the bill there, and nice trading last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then we have UPS. Now, FedEx reporting after the bell tomorrow. So this might move UPS, and UPS right
Sure.
now being trapped between 134 and 140. So let's see if tomorrow we can break out to the upside. Right now, up 1.7%. I'll take it.
Sure. Let's see FedEx have just stellar earnings, and let's see UPS go.
Yeah. So overall, everything is doing really well for us today. So, I mean, what can derail all this? Probably our joke of the day. What you got for us? Because I have something really, really bad. Just give me.
Yeah, I think that this can derail things because this one's pretty cringeworthy. Why did the picture go to jail? It was framed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, following here, the race to the bottom. What
Yes.
has 5 toes and is not your foot?
I don't know.
My foot.
Ooh. Ooh.
Whew.
Bad start to the week, Marcus.
That's a rough start to the week. Hey, but you let us know which of these two jokes you like better, or maybe today it's a race to the bottom. Which one was worse? So, all right. With that said, just looking back at the markets right now, so we opened pretty much exactly at the S&P 500 where we closed on Friday, had this brief rally up, and right now fizzling out, still up 0.3%. The Dow up, the Nasdaq coming back right now. I mean, it was. Let's go to the Nasdaq here, coming off the session lows. So right now, not yet at the unchanged mark, and yeah, I think the big one will be tomorrow morning with consumer confidence. And until then, we might just have a diddle day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you do enjoy today's show and the traits that we are showing together, maybe with the jokes, give us a like. We really appreciate all of the likes. If you feel that this is content worth sharing, please do. There's a share button right underneath these videos where you can share it wherever you want. And then also, if this is your first time here, hope that you enjoyed it and click subscribe. And then we will see you in the next show. Until then, have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.